Some of us grew up in NEPA when coal was king. Collieries were everywhere. We had family members that worked in the mines. They employed thousands of people. It helped build towns and a thriving economy. But when they left behind a lot of scars and polluted water. This episode highlights one organization's mission to clean up and keep tabs on the water. Hello everyone, I'm Don Jacobs and I'm going to take you and we're going to go wild with Discover NEPA. But first, a little bit of a sad story. Take a look at this. This is what's left behind after a mine industry pulled out of here years ago. There is an organization that is trying to get together with other organizations and to clean all of this up and to survey clean water. You're going to hear from Bobby Hughes.
EPCAMR is a regional environmental nonprofit organization that's going to be going on its 30th year next year in the summer. We're a partnership of a number of groups like county conservation districts, members at large from the community that are working in community watershed organizations, and we cover 16 counties in northeastern and north central Pennsylvania. We came around back in 1995. We sort of chartered the organization to model a Western counterpart of ours that had been started back in the early 80s in the Western Pennsylvania called EPCAMR that worked in the bituminous region to do very similar efforts to kind of look at old abandoned mine sites that were legally abandoned prior to 1977 when the Surface Mining Control and Reclamation Act came into play. And so those sites are areas that there is no responsible parties. There's the coal companies had kind of went belly up or went bankrupt. So those are the sites that have been abandoned, unreclaimed, and left a bunch of water pollution across Pennsylvania to the tune of about 5,500 miles of streams being polluted by either orange water or white water that's aluminum impacts or manganese impacts to the water. So we typically see iron, manganese, and aluminum in many of the watersheds that we're working in that we're trying to clean up. Most of the area here, particularly in the Wyoming Valley, in the northern anthracite fields, you're going to see a lot of orange water. We have lots of boreholes and abandoned tunnels that the water comes up from underground and what we call the mine pools, which we develop a lot of the mapping for the region, that then discharge into our local streams. So if you're anywhere from, Scranton to Wilkes-Barre and in the Lackawanna and Wyoming Valley, you're going to hear about Old Forge, Plainsville, South Wilkes-Barre boreholes, Nanticoke Creek, Newport Creek. There's a number of these streams that have been impacted by mining where coaly shales and the pyritic material and the iron pyrite that's underground in the mines is what's causing the pollution and turning the streams either red, yellow, or orange.
There are some streams that are polluted by other minerals and high acidity. They don't turn orange.
Today we're out and we're going to do a little bit of a macro survey or bug sampling in the stream that helps us look at the stream ecology of Shickshinny Creek here on Mr. Kittleson's property, who's been a friend of ours for over 30 years. So we've been out here with funding from the Pennsylvania Council of Trout Limited and the Pennsylvania American Water Charitable Foundation that's given us enough money to do a complete assessment of the watershed and all the tributaries that feed the Susquehanna River. And we are assessing the chemistry, the water quality, the flow, looking at the macroinvertebrates, and then we're looking for problems that might be along the streams that we can make recommendations in the assessment. The more bugs that we're finding, the healthier the stream, for sure. We're looking at, mayflies and stoneflies and caddisflies and stick builders and stone builders, and these are the kinds of things that we're typically finding in the streams here. And if anybody's a fisherman or fishing person, you're going to know that those are the bugs that the trout like and the fish like to eat. So as we find more of a diversity in the number of species that are in the water and we count those, that tells us, gives us a good indication of what the health of the stream is. We definitely could use more volunteers, not only for doing work like this. We have 2 AmeriCorps volunteers with us that are with EPCAMR. They're being funded through a grant that we wrote, and the Office of Surface Mining and Reclamation Enforcement, Conservation Legacy, and this Stewards Individual Placement Program has provided us the funding to have 2 full-time kind of positions. Maria and Dennis are down there for a 6-month stint right now that they're working with us all summer, all the way through the fall and into the winter. And I'm hoping that gets extended. And they're also going to learn about, just the history in general of coal mining in the region for a number of the watersheds that we work in, because we include that type of background information in our reports. We don't just focus in on just the water quality and the improvements that can be made. We do want to talk about a little bit of the history, because that's why the impacts are here,
Right.
and they're not going to be gone overnight. The volunteers that we're looking for get to come out and learn about this stuff here, and maybe not be afraid of nature, actually look into seeing what is in the streams here. Well, particularly in these cleaner streams, you won't find any of these things in the mine drainage that we're working in, or if you do, you're going to find black fly larvae, the ones that get in your eyes,
Right, right.
mosquito larvae, or rat tail maggots, the different species that are, you know, the pollution they can handle a little bit. But
Right.
these are the sensitive species. These are the ones you're going to find in the clean water. You won't find these in polluted water.
So in this case, Bobby, this is all part of mapping out the Shikshini watershed, possible problems, possible need to correct things, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, or you know, the conservation and protection measures that are already happening or going on that is keeping the water clean. So we want to find that out too, you know. And for the most part down here, what we found on Little Shikshini Creek and Rayburn Creek and Culver Creek, these are all the major tributaries, and there are some unnamed tributaries to Shikshini Creek. They're all really in good shape.
Good.
Which is great for everybody that lives up here and needs to know that it's when we get down on the front of the watershed on the game lands is where the mining impacts, the legacy mining impacts are that we are, you know, documented as well.
So you see, all is not lost. We're here in the Shikshini watershed. We just found a whole bunch of bugs. All of the readings on their little device says that this is good, clean water. They need volunteers to do projects like this, cleanups across the Wyoming Valley, and there's still hope for those mine reclamation areas if groups like this stick around. For more information on everything Go Wild with Discover NEPA, check out our homepage at discovernepa.com.